सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। हरिः ओम्। Hari Om and welcome to one and all for this question answer session. Let us have a minute name of the Lord and then we'll start. Om Mangalam Omkar Mangalam Om Mangalam Omkar Mangalam Guru Mangalam Guru Pada Mangalam Guru Mangalam Guru Pada Mangalam Guru Pada Mangalam। Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai। In this question and answer session, we are answering the questions received on the basis of Vedanta, knowledge of Vedanta. So, everyone should be clear that the answers are from not only my pocket but from the basis of a great Vedantic knowledge. Today we have with us our PRO Umesh. He's going to answer the question. He's going to read the question. I'm going to answer the question. Okay, so let us start. Umesh.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
So the first question we have is, why do I still feel jealous?
Oh, a good question. Why do I feel still jealous? See, let me just bring to your notice. Jealousy is a thought which is called as a negative thought in our mind. In our mind, we have both positive as well as negative thought. So, jealousy is one of the negative thought of the mind. Okay. Second important point, jealousy is an effect. So, what is a cause of jealousy that we are going to see? Vedanta always answers or describes everything by cause and effect method. So, let us first understand how are we living our life. In day-to-day life, most of the people, they live their life with this sort of understanding which is called as competitive spirit of living. Competitive. There is a competition in everything. So, if we have such thought of competition with anything or for anything in this world, then what happens? Whatever we are expecting for us as a result, if someone gets it, then this thought that, oh, this person got it, why did I not get it? So this thought is called as a thought of jealousy. So when we have such thought that if something is gained by someone and we have a great affinity or great attraction to it, but we did not get it, then a thought of jealousy comes. So let us see the solution. What is the solution? Let us focus and have competition with oneself. Take this mantra. What is a mantra? Every day I have to remind to myself, am I better than yesterday in each and every aspect of my life or not? Am I better than yesterday in each and every aspect of my life or not? If we continuously keep having this mantra in our mind, then we will not have a competition with anyone in the world, but we will have a competition with self. And there cannot be any sort of jealousy, but there will be a great improvement. Think. Next question, please.
Right. So second question comes, Swamiji. Why my family, like my husband, children, near and dear ones, stop me when I start following a spiritual path? Why are they afraid? Can spiritual sadhana and family and day-to-day life go together?
Oh, it's a very so-called as a question which is related to majority of seekers. See what happens when someone start seeking something higher. When someone starts seeking something higher, what is called as spirituality? Spirituality is not something that we go away from people or from object. But spirituality is that where you express yourself unconditionally and there is no negativity in your expression. Okay. So why people are scared mostly are near and dear? Because popularly or people keep listening that this person has joined spiritual field and gone away from their home and their family. That is very much fixed in the minds of people because of the day-to-day conversations with different people as well as the comments heard from the society. So, what is your role? So, you should be more compassionate towards your family, more concerned about your duties, more loving to everyone in the family, and be very positive about everything in life. Let your husband, let your children see this change in yourself, and then they will appreciate you for being better and better person, loving, caring, compassionate and dutiful. One who is dutiful is most beautiful. Hope it answers your question. Next one.
So next question is, how do I strike a balance between my duties towards family and the quest for knowledge? It is disturbing sometimes. Please advise.
Oh. So the question asked is, how to balance between our sadhana, that is called as spiritual practice, as well as day-to-day duties towards our family. So the first and foremost, one has to understand that if you are in a grihastha dharma, that means if you are a family person, then whenever you do any spiritual practice, like if you are doing japa, then you should not select the time morning 8 o'clock or morning 10 o'clock or evening 8 o'clock when everyone is around. Please don't do that. You have to select a time when nobody is disturbed because of your spiritual practice. That's the first important thing. So which is this time? Early in the morning is a best time where rest of the family members are generally sleeping. So this is the first point that we should be able to understand, that our spiritual practice should not disturb our family so-called as atmosphere. They should not feel that you are someone who is different than them. That please make it a point. Do not show that you are something different and they are not doing something called as spiritual and you are doing something spiritual. That's why you are becoming more and more so-called as great. Such thought never should enter in the mind of seeker. Okay. Next important point, if, just I am giving an example, if you have to attend a discourse and you have a family important function, then now being a family member, your duty is towards your family first. So you should attain the family function not with regret that oh I cannot go and so forth, and you are doing something favor on with someone. No, must not have such thought at all. You are not doing favor to anyone. Please understand that you must realize that my duty towards family is extremely important. Therefore, there is no regret. I am with right understanding and happy state of mind attending the function, and completely I am present there, and whatever is required you must do at that moment. Then after finishing the function, if you have a friend who also attends the spiritual discourse, you may call that friend and ask that what are the topics discussed in that satsang, or generally you know what topic is going on and we have a book with us. Let us read that book for that topic. And anyway, every speaker keeps doing recap in the next of his or her discourses, so you can again get whatever required. So my point is that there should not be any disconnect because of the spiritual practice between you and family. Another important point, the family should not feel that you are something different than them, and you also should not project that you are doing something great and they are not doing. So they are so called as mortal beings and you are trying to be immortal. No. Such feeling, if we by mistake is projecting or giving to anyone, is not a right thing to do. So therefore, understand, we all must have a primary duty. So for the family people, the primary duty is to see what are the important aspects of family, what are the important duties for the family. Let me complete those duties, and the spare time let me utilize for my spiritual quest. Hope I have answered your question. So next question.
Next question is, after trying to understand Vedanta, I have been able to control my anger a little, but unable to get rid of it. At times, I think, what is the use of reading all this if I cannot overcome it? What should I do to learn the art of anger management?
Oh ho! See, anger, as a question asked, is also a effect. So therefore, I would like to again remind you, Vedanta always explains everything by cause and effect. So anger is an effect. So let me give a very Vedantic first answer. Arjuna asked Lord Krishna a question in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita Karma Yoga. Arjuna said, Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi vashneya baladiva niyojitaha. O Bhagavan, even though I do not wish to do wrong things, but someone inside me propels me to do it. How is it so? So Bhagavan answers, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhena iha vairina. The cause, basic cause of anger is Rajasika Guna, the quality of the mind which is Rajasic. What is Rajasic quality? That mind which is very active, that mind which is very competitive, that mind which is restless, that mind wants to show how smart I am. These are few qualities of the Rajasic mind. So therefore, what happens? Because of this Rajas, this anger is a effect. Anger is an effect. Now, 2 important points I am going to emphasize. One, Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand Ji used to say, I use the anger as a car. Whenever it is required, I show it and put it back in my pocket. Now, if this anger I use as a tool, when someone after telling for 2, 3, 4 times doesn't understand, then you have to use anger as a card. Here, it is not disturbing to you at all, but it is just a sign for someone to make your point more seriously, take your point more seriously, more correctly. Second important point about this, which I am going to emphasize, the anger which comes because we cannot digest the limitations around us, and on and off, because of our short-temperedness, the mind becomes agitated. So if your mind becomes agitated because of someone's action which you do not want, because it does not come to your wish, or it is not certainly as connected to your wish. So then the anger comes in our mind. So how to manage anger? Spiritual answer is, by right spiritual sadhana, turn your quality of mind to sattvic. And this way you will absolutely annihilate the anger. But during the sadhana, if anger comes, then these are the three important steps you can follow. If you know you are getting angry, quickly just go away from that situation or from that place for some time, and it may help you, because it has helped a number of people when I have asked them to do. Second important point, if you cannot go away from that place or situation, close your eyes for a minute or two and remember the Lord intensely in your mind. Have His name in your mind. So do a mental japa. This also is very effective. Third, if you are very angry and the first and second doesn't work with you, so the third is, come out of that situation immediately and have a brisk walk wherever it is possible. Brisk walking or jogging also removes all sort of negative tendencies from mind, and mind becomes empty and you feel fresh. So I have answered from two standpoints. The first standpoint, the spiritual standpoint. The second standpoint, a transactional standpoint. Hope it helped for you. Next one.
So next question. If karma and our purushartha is important, then how can we depend on our destiny in today's times? These are two contradictory things.
See, the destiny and purushartha. Destiny in Vedanta called as prarabdha, and purushartha, that is, if we want to translate it in English, it is called as self-effort. So there is called as destiny and there is called as self-effort. First and foremost, understand what is called as destiny. See, destiny is not coming from somewhere because of somebody. Please understand this. Destiny, which is called as prarabdha, is not because of someone or because of someone else's action. Destiny, what we understand, is because of me, my own action in the past. So whatever I have done action in this life or in the past life, that has become my destiny. Now, if I have to really grow above it, I'll give an example. Like, if someone by mistake or by so-called as attraction towards the junk food, what happened to this person has spoiled the health. Now you cannot blame, oh, this is my destiny now. This is my destiny because my health is like this and I have 1, 2, 3 diseases. Now, if this person understands that whatever is a present state of my health is not because of someone else, is because I have done some wrong actions, I have had a junk food, or I have never had a right routine in my life, and therefore these diseases have entered my life. Now, what's the correction? The correction is stop eating junk food. This is called as self-effort. Have right healthy diet. With that, also have a right per day routine. If you start doing right exercise like yoga abhyas, Then whatever way, if you go to the gym and want to work out, or you go and have a good brisk walk or jogging in a park, whatever way it suits to you, then you will find that slowly your health is improving and the diseases are going away from you. In the same way, in today's situation, one has to understand that this is also because of not one person, but it is called as collective destiny. This is called as collective samashti prarabdha, because everyone's action are also having effect on this whole universe. And therefore, now when everyone will start doing a right action, slowly this effect will also be reduced to the great extent. So therefore, please make it a point and keep it in your mind forever that destiny is not created by someone else. Destiny is because of my own past action. So if my own past action has become today a destiny, so my own right actions will only overcome my destiny. Hope I have answered your question. Next one.
Next question is, Gita says Mama Dharma, but in practical dealing with all kinds of people and situation in today's times, how can we be always good to people who intend harm to us or are not good to us? How can we be always good to them?
Oh, often this sort of situation is faced by n number of people. See, point number one, when you are on the spiritual path, you have to understand, when you are seeking the higher, you want to grow in your life and completely unfold yourself, then it will take lot of time. It will take a lot of time, first and foremost. This is a process. This is a process. Now, being good, first and foremost, being good, are you trying to be good for someone? If you are trying to be good for someone, then the expectations of people will keep increasing and it has no limits, and therefore your all efforts will be limited. Think. Therefore, suggestion number one, you should not do something just to please someone. Please make it this point and note it. You should not do something to please someone. Instead, you must do your duty to the best of your capacity. You must do your duty to the best of your capacity. And Pujya Gurudev beautifully says, he says, do your best and leave the rest. Do your best and leave the rest. What does it mean? See, you can do your best because that's your capacity. But someone has some very fancy ideas, then anyway, his fancy ideas you cannot always stand to, or you cannot actually do exactly what the person wants you to do. So therefore, the point is, let us understand, I am being good not for anyone in the world. The first important point. I am being good means I am trying to inculcate all good values. Why good values? Because if I have a good values, my mind will be very positive. Then this positive mind will be positive for everyone whosoever is there around me or in this world. Let that person be negative, but you should be positive towards that person. You should not be negative. Now, I'm not saying that someone comes and gives one to you and then you say, oh, let it be. No, I'm not saying like that. When someone is doing injustice, then you should properly respond to it and do not react. What I am saying, two words, please understand. Response is from discriminative mind. Reaction is very impulsive. When we do impulsive action, we so many times regret for that action. But when I respond, just for example, if a small child is there, after telling 10 times by the parents, if the child doesn't actually understand, then sometimes you have to give one chata to that child just to make that child understand. Now this is not reaction. This is a right response where you will not regret. But it is a right action. And it's not negative action. It's totally because to set a right example, to set a right discipline in your child. Yes or no? Therefore, every time, as per the situation, one has to see what response is required. But having given the response, we should never become negative. And that's called as actual the goodness. Hope I have answered. Next question, please.
So, next question also is of same kind. Here the questioner asked, when we study spirituality, we try to do good to everyone without expecting returns. But I realized that people start taking you for granted. They want you to do more and more for them. This burdens you with their expectations. What should we do in this situation?
Okay. So, a sort of similar question. When you keep doing favor to someone, no doubt the expectation will keep increasing. This is a simple human nature. Simple example, like if you give sort of one roti to a stray dog, one day, second day, every day at same time, that stray dog will be there. Yes or no? So what is happening? Because you have done little favor to that dog has understood that something I am going to get here. In the same way, it's human nature too, that when we receive favors from people and, please understand, and this person who receives the favor is not having right understanding, then this person would take advantage of the situation. Please understand, if this person does not have right understanding, then he may take advantage of such situation. But what should be a spiritual attitude? The first and foremost, whatever I do, I am doing it for him. Whatever actions I am doing for the supreme reality, whatever you call God. Then when you are doing it for him, you can do as much as you have capacity to do it. Please understand. So, you can have a right discussion with the people around you. Please note it. That this is how is my capacity. It may increase, but this much I can serve to the best of my capacity. But if I cannot really reach or meet your expectation, please understand that it is not because I don't have to do, but I am in process of increasing my capacity. So please bear with us or me with love, oh my dear. So when you request people with love, everyone understands. Make your standpoint very clear. Any aspect or any situation in life, if you have clarity, or if there's a clarity in relation and there is no ambiguity, then there cannot be wrong expectations. But if there is a lack of clarity in relationship, there will be somewhat question marks and wrong expectations. So, my suggestions are, let us have a right discussion with our own near and dear people. Let everyone has a clarity about the capacity of yours and the service which you do with love, but you have a capacity. You have some capacity. You are trying your level best to reach to the best of the capacity and serve everyone in the family. But if sometimes it happens that their expectations you cannot meet, then please there cannot be or there should not be a negativity between you or that person or in your relations. If we can understand this, we can serve much better to everyone in the family. Another important point, service. Service is a best sadhana. Service is a great spiritual practice. When you serve with this attitude that I'm serving to the Lord in this human form. So everyone around you, if you understand the Lord is there in this form and I'm serving to one and all, then your mind will be very focused without negativity and you can do best. Your capacity will also increase. Please try it. Thank you for being with us. One more question? Okay.
Last. So this question is again of the same kind. Here the questioner asked that giving everything unconditional is okay and not to expect anything even if you know that for whom we do so much, that person never values you. Should we go against our nature or keep doing what Jnana teaches? Total expectation zero.
See, question is quite similar to the previous one. Here, I would suggest, see, whenever you do something for someone, please do not have this thought that you are doing favor to someone. Like, service is one which is done with love. And true love is without expectation. True love is unconditional. Please understand. So, when there is a true love, the first and foremost in true love, there are no demands, but there are requests. So, please understand this point. In true love, there are no demands, there are requests. So, both sides should understand that if I have to get something from someone, I must request. And the person who is doing a service should also understand that this action I am not doing just for a human being in front of me, but I am doing for the sake of Lord who is present in this form. So, we should be able to understand if my attitude is completely spiritual, then let me do any action in this transactional world. I cannot become negative at all. I cannot become negative at all. So, coming back for your question, that do your actions selflessly Do your actions as a seva to Him. Do your action with true love. And in true love, there is no expectation, there is no demand, and there is no insecurity too. So therefore, let us understand, when we do our action from this standpoint, we will always have a positive mind. We will always enjoy in serving the people. Example, like Pujya Gurudev served the whole nation as well as the globe for 40 plus years, but never complained about anything that something is not right or somewhere this is there and that is there. So, we are connected to such a great master who has done great service to this nation as well as the whole world. With a great austerity, with a great tapasya, and with ease he has served the whole world. In the same way, let us slowly learn and grow slowly to become more positive and try to love people unconditionally. When we can love people unconditionally, our action becomes true service. Thank you for being with us. This question answer session, as I have received lot of response from different levels of society, that this is helping them so much. So, this is God's grace and Pujya Gurudev's blessing that we are doing this question answer session for some more time, because still questions are coming. If you also want to ask a question, you can send a question. Thank you very much. One more request to everyone, that if this question which are answered now in this session are helpful for you, please suggest all other near and dear friends to connect to this question answer session so they also can be benefited. Thank you once again. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Thank you to Umesh, who has helped me in today's question answer session by asking the questions so correctly.
Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.